beautiful multi-dimensional beings, quantum access beings, star seeds and light warriors incarnated. Welcome back, or hello if you're new, to another channel reading a message for you beautiful souls. I'm in the best energy today. We're going to light some Palo Santo and start channeling through your energy. I'm also filming this early in the morning, and there's been very powerful gateways open astrally, specifically in the morning right now. So maybe some of you find yourself being woken up early in the morning by your guides randomly, or you've been finding yourself waking up earlier than usual, or maybe your sleep patterns have changed in some way. Maybe you're waking up later because you're staying up later. There's something about you, oh yeah, harnessing these gateways, looking down Akashic, Stargate, bottom deck energy, and stellar gateway activation. Are you kidding me? Akashic Stargates. This says, and aligned with purpose, crossroads, no wrong path. And then we have stellar gateway activation, infinite potential, manifestation, vortex. You've been tapping into a manifestation vortex at the minute in particular gateways. This was not part of the channeled reading for today, but it links in, and it's really interesting actually the way it's coming through, because there's something about you connecting to a particular gateway right now, a particular time. And this is a manifestational gateway where you are almost accessing the forking paths, or the different timeline paths, like it has in this Akashic Stargate card. When it says align with purpose, crossroads, no wrong path, you're tapping into like your infinite potentials in these particular times, in different timelines. And there's something about how you have a path that is very, very interesting, because like these stargates, you have many timelines that you are going to live between this lifetime. Meaning that there's going to be multiple times of your journey where you feel you have an awakening, or you feel you have some sort of awakening to a whole new reality, a whole new business plan, a whole new dream timeline or lifestyle or calling. You guys are going to have multiple higher callings this lifetime. By higher calling, I mean something that your heart space is calling you towards or to do. Now, for some of you, or for a lot of you tuning in, this is going to be in areas of creation. Look, we literally have sound and music, bottom deck energy here as well. And for others of you, this is going to be in creation, sound and music, the arts, poetry, writing, things like this, books. And then High Priestess, this is also to do with like psychology, spirituality, healing, shamanism, life coaching, things like that. Why I find this interesting is because one of the guides coming through to you today was crystal, really intertwined with a specific message, and it may be intertwined with this, that you have multiple purposes of your higher self is connected to, and there's certain things that you have agreed to create into existence this lifetime. Some of these things you might not even be aware of yet, or even had as an idea yet. Maybe you have because they're in your subconscious already, in your framework of intuition. But I'm really picking up someone entering a new stargate where you're entering like a new higher calling, and this is one calling out of many that you'll be drawn to this life. And it could be in one of those areas of teaching through creativity. Some of you could be starting an online course, looking into writing a book, writing poetry, or creating a tarot deck, creating an oracle deck, like we said, online courses. Some of you might be guided right now into a feeling of wanting to research new things or a particular area, or learn a new skill, or learn a field of information that you might start studying. Only because crystal is funny, because crystal is also about learning. Crystal is the highly sensitive card. It is for the intuitives. Some of you, the neurodivergence as well. Crystal, indigo starseeds I'm picking up on as well, specifically blue light beings, indigo starseeds. There's many different starseeds, but those two I'm picking up very strongly for this card. but yeah, and this kind of crystal light body aura of yours. But anyway, this crystal energy is very strong, and she kind of comes through, or she's been working with you since your teenagers, you guys, or since you were in some form of education or something. She also helps you with your highest callings, because crystal is so connected to your authentic sensitivities, your receptive abilities. Because the reading coming through today, what we have channeled through is that your guides throughout your journey have been revealing your psychology to you, or have been revealing psychology to you through yourself or through other people, because through your experiences you guys channel and are connected with your higher self and your guides, which means through your experiences you have an internal monologue that almost narrates over certain things. Oh, we're releasing. You have an internal monologue that almost narrates over certain things when you reflect about certain situations, when you're in certain situations, when you're thinking about certain people, when you are just in contact or in a room with someone. Maybe your inner monologue starts picking up information. It's like you are channeling a lot with your guides throughout your journey, and they reveal many really cool observations of learnings and understandings to you whilst in your inner monologue experience of this reality. So say you witness someone in a particular frequency of energy, you may then get like a kind of a download or a teaching experience in your inner voice, in your inner mind, in your inner connection space, about what they're going through, what's caused this, the frequencies, the triggers, the causes and effects, and the impacts of these energies. It's like you start divulging and unpicking, or your guides start unraveling things for you to understand deeper through your observation inside your inner monologue. And they have revealed a lot of psychology to you, a lot of your psychology to you. With this crystal card as well, it's like you're someone who feels extremely deeply, and you're very receptive to energies and subtle frequencies. And it's like it says here, they've been revealing to you your psychology. Now, as a multi-dimensional being, our consciousness is operating from a higher, non-localized space. This is where within us our awareness of self resides. Our awareness of self is residing inside of ourselves in a bit more of a non-localized connected space. Okay, and in this way, much of our spiritual journey or our spiritual processes or experiences have been experiencing and understanding consciousness through ourselves, through others, through the mind, and through emotions. And also, I love to think about it this way, that our spiritual journey, when we say spiritual path, spiritual journey, is really just our emotional journey, our emotional, mental journeys that we go through. Because what are emotions and the mind and thoughts but frequencies? And frequencies are our teacher here. All of our guides are a particular fractalization of a frequency, a particular separated piece of frequency, the same as you are, and the same as inside of you as a stained glass of all the infinite frequency aspects of the collective consciousness. You guys are a plural, and we said this before. Being this crystal energy really does intertwine sometimes with the spiritual and the psychological paths, because we can look at some things, sensitivities, and masking and things like that. But also in another parallel, we see this as you being an eclectic being, of having a sense of self connected to non-localized infinite consciousness, which means you feel yourself as everything inside. When you're around people, you can flick to match aspects of frequency with them because you recognize their frequency, because you've already met it inside yourself. And that's literally one piece of you. You are everything. And it's not that you chameleon to mirror people, it's that every time you meet someone, you recognize themselves as an aspect of yourself that you've already met. So there's just so many different windows, so many different sides of yourself that you're connected to in this non-localized way, which creates sometimes in our younger years a sense of a very fragile sense of self, because you do not identify in such rigid ego boxes of constructs. You have a very fluid sense of self. And in this incarnation and plane, we get conditioned, we get taught that we should have or be perceived and through observation learn that maybe from the ego, it's safe to have a stronger sense of self that can be more to do with labels and personality identifications. Whereas you guys, your personality identifications, you see as programmings and conditionings. Obviously, maybe we go not as deep into it, but maybe there's some things to do with like astrology or into things like this, but not all of it. But a lot of maybe what other people consider personality, you see as conditioning, and you consider yourself to be resonant, or your personality as meeting and identifying with your soul, your higher consciousness, your higher awareness, which is non-localized and non-definable. It is not able to be labeled because it is not this or that. It is not here nor there. It is both, right? It's everything all at once. You are everything all at once. And this is what you have met yourself at the level of realizing. And so you are very connected to your psychological concepts, maybe philosophical concepts, ethics, philosophical understandings and ways of looking at things, because you, as well with this crystal, are a massive observer. Growing up, you observe a lot, and there's a lot that you speak silently, right? And by that, I mean that not all of your inner monologue is spoken or reached to the physical material realms. A lot of you speak to yourself inside, internally a lot, and a lot of the things you speak about that you don't say out loud is some of the most important thought processes you go through, these reflections between you and yourself in the background of spaces and situations. These are the spaces that are full of some really profound informations, thoughts, observations, and curiosities of questions. And this is where you have learned a lot about maybe psychology and things like that. Because as we were going to, I think there was something we were going to say before about that philosophy, psychology. Yeah, so you speak a lot inside yourself, and no matter if you no matter if your conditionings identify you to be loud or quiet, it really doesn't matter. It's that you have this profound inner connection in this way, and because maybe you were more reserved in not how much you're sharing or how loud you're sharing, but particular things you're thinking, because of this reservations of these things you would pick up on, because they're not always fully formed thoughts. It's that you pick up on frequencies very easily. So you can pick up on frequencies inside someone and know to yourself very easily what that is. But to translate that to 3D words is a different story. And it's not that you can't do that, it's just to differentiate the difference. You are very complex at navigating the language of frequency, and how, through time we learn to translate frequency, emotions, or thoughts into physical words or sentences. But in this way, you're speaking in the organic language of frequency, which is a much higher level of communication to picking up information, because we find that through communicating through physical words, we have to drop off and lose a lot of energetic information because of its singularity of words. Like, there can be 10 words that mean the same thing, and in energy frequency, you'd feel it all at once. And it's like encompassing all of those things in one frequency of word experience, right? But it's like, before we go off on these spirals, you guys, you have a lot of inner observations that you have a very high emotional intelligence, and most likely because you have had to understand yourself to a very deep level, because you have very complex, subtle frequencies you pick up on inside your soul matrices, inside your subconscious, and in the collective. So you have grown and adapted to being familiar with complex frequencies. And when we say complex, what we really just mean is subtle energies. These are frequencies of emotion that are very intricately woven with maybe some more further out spaces of thought, reflection, or belief systems. This can be complex frequencies, can be more abstract, subtle reflections of feeling, okay? Rather than like logical or so much physical. It can be more questions of existence, and this is why we're bringing through the philosophical energy, or why you bring through the philosophical energy, is because of these conflict frequencies you are attached to. And in this way, like, you don't feel yourself as singular. You feel yourself as non-localized, as an infinite multi-dimensional being. This is what we're saying about the higher calling for you guys, is that you have many and multiple higher callings this life that you will in divine time just feel naturally pulled and guided to. And these might be in very different areas, but maybe they carry the same key theme, just your passion, your interests. Maybe some of these, some of you I'm picking up on, that's what we were saying about crystal and learning. Some of you are about to have this intuitive pull to start learning something new, and it could be to do something like spiritual coaching, life coaching, tarot reading, online content, writing, speaking, performing, or creating, something like this, you guys. Because I'm getting through this energy of teacher from you, and this is what we had in the other deck, the teacher. Okay, and it says, I study and share wisdom with those who will value it. So you hold a lot of wisdom, you guys, and there's something that your soul chose to come here to teach. Now, this reading is not to put pressure and be like, your soul came here to do something, why aren't you doing it? It's that this is all just bubbling up in realizations that you've already had maybe, or not in a pressure to do something, but knowing that this is an acknowledgement that you will find throughout your journey, whether that's in a few years, as you live your journey, you'll realize you have multiple higher callings that you feel really resonate with your soul, that you just feel a passion to either absorb information about and learn and share with the world or others around you. In some way, shape, or form. Again, whether that's like writing a book, or some of you, this is teaching children, like your own children, or it can be children in general within like some sort of education system or something like this. But for others of you, again, yeah, that teacher is like you have multiple different higher calling life paths of this shamanic energy of teaching through creation, teaching through embodiment, and teaching through expression. And the things you want to express are the things that you can't contain within yourself energetically, and you can't contain them energetically within yourself because they produce such a charged frequency of passion or excitement or awakening or realization that you naturally, it's not a choice whether to share, it's a necessity because it's something you feel like crying, right? Or like when we cry or when we sweat, it's like there's certain frequencies that become so strong within your soul, you will naturally find them pouring out of you, whether that's you just writing things on your story or in your journal to yourself. You will naturally find these things that your soul wants to teach naturally pour out of you, whether it's in a particular niche, like maybe there's something you just know a lot of information about, maybe it's a particular special interest. Again, with the crystal, you have special interest that you know loads about, you guys, and again, even the ones you haven't even met yet. And this is what we're tapping into, is that some of you could be learning something soon or being really called to a new timeline path. And this can be, again, like something creative, something healing, something spiritual, something, it doesn't matter what it looks like, there's something that your soul is tapping into as a higher calling. So whether this, again, no rush, whether this comes about now, whether this actualizes in a few years or whenever, there is really no rush, and you already know you have less control than you think. We all have less control than we think. Time is all happening simultaneously, and all the infinite timelines of our whole life have already happened. It's just that we're yet to move through particular ones and create that kind of perception of a linear journey of our incarnation. But remember, guys, before you are anything, you are everything. Because before you are anything, you have the potential in your mind to place yourself in the shoes of all of these different things, roles, positions. And so before you are anything, you are first everything in your mind. You try out all these timelines, and there's many things that your soul is guiding you towards. And so you guys also, like we said about much of your journey, understanding mind and emotions, things like that, you have a very heightened processing centers for translating frequencies from this super rounders, meaning you pick up on subtle frequencies too. So when we say about you have heightened processing centers, these are your different senses, all your different chakra centers of energy. And when we talk about translating frequencies, we talk about that because this whole reality we're seeing right now is a perception through our senses, and our senses create our perception. And so if you have heightened senses, you have more sensitive senses, you are having a different creative perception of the world around you. And this is why you are very important, you guys, because you have a way of perceiving things that is different, that can see the smaller intricacies, that can see the small details, or the fine or more refined elements that are crucial and yet very small and intricate and maybe quiet or subtle in energy. And so, yeah. So there is a lot of importance when it comes to the mind and our spirit guides and our experience that's coming through, for the mind creates our experience. And you are the creator of the mind with the conscious awareness that you currently have, you guys. Your guides have been assisting you this journey and along your path of remembering your co-creational power. You guys are magicians, and as a human species, we're evolving into lucid consciousness, which means that we are all allowed to be revealed. We can be the creators of our reality. And what better way to teach that than by doing it and living it? So you guys are being taught by your guides this lifetime something that all of us are evolving into, which is lucid co-creational consciousness, which is understanding the interconnectedness between us, this reality and this plane, and consciousness within this whole plane of universal existence. And so maybe a lot of you, or a lot of your guides have been assisting you along this journey, along your path of remembering that co-creational power through understanding your own multidimensional nature. And you only really understand your multidimensional nature by first understanding your mental and your emotional nature. Yeah, so it's almost as if we said this before. You have all the answers inside yourself because you are the answer. It's to be reverse engineered. The way your mind works, the way that you feel things, the way you process things, the way you perceive things, the way you think about things, they're your answers. They're the answers that the world is needing. But it's to be reverse engineered literally through you observing your own experience of how you operate and how you're living and how experiencing this incarnation. And so, yeah, maybe a lot of your psychology was revealed or explained to you in downloads for your mind, or in channelings and in information books, and people who were just divinely guided into your path, who just divinely orchestrated to align with your path at particular times of open receptivity to the frequencies that they are able to bestow or share with you. Again, through books, through videos, through information, through crystals, through herbs, through plants, through divination, all these things you're guided to, where you have these profound maybe understandings or realizations or truths and pieces and nuggets of knowledge about these things that can really, really change your own perception and other people's perception of the self and reality that they live in. And so, yeah, the landscape of how the astral consciousness... Oh, actually, we didn't finish the last one. But like we were saying, explain to you through downloads and things like this about your mind, and how your inner monologue narrates over these different energies and processes of the mind in your higher inner monologue or your higher awareness. So the landscape of how the astral consciousness, it has changed a lot for you. Your inner feeling of your astral planes or your inner landscape has changed a lot over time. The pieces you feel in there, how much is in there, okay? How much we become illuminated to of its existence as your consciousness has been expanding into the subconscious or the more subtle energies inside of yourself. And so over time, as more of this landscape of your mind is uncovered, the bigger or different picture we start to see. Yeah, the more that your inner landscape is uncovered, the bigger the picture we start to see, because the more you're uncovering, for starters, to have more in your picture frame. And not only that, but we start to see things differently as well with all these combined aspects of ourselves that we've met. So you guys, this dragon guide crystal is channeling through again. She's channeling through with you. She's working with you. She's a guide that works with you very closely and has done, um, wow, since the very young years of your incarnation. And you know, maybe even guides you to certain crystals or works with you through crystals, like we said, books and things like that. But crystal, this crystal guide dragon, maybe she works with you through things like actual crystals or light frequencies as well. um and yeah, just this kind of iridescent, beautiful energy. She's reminding me of moonstone, and she's telling me about opalite as well. Maybe those are beneficial crystals for you guys. Moonstone, opalite, blue lace agate, amethyst, of course, and fluorite too. So, yeah, this is the dragon crystal working with you closely, and she maybe even guides you to crystals, things like that. I'm also hearing her say about, that's why I was laughing, saying about a sports car engine brain needs driving differently, or let's say has a different mechanics to maybe other cars' engines, right? And this is like your guides have been teaching you how to drive your car, how to operate your operating system, because it's a very unique and individual to different people. You guys also connected again to the Pleiadian energies, and there's a lot of this crystal icy blue energy coming through, mixed with this kind of purple frequency as well. You guys are magicians. You are the lucid dreamers of these dimensions. And we'll say that again. You guys watching this, you are the lucid dreamers of these dimensions of experience. That is straightly the point. You are the lucid dreamers of this dimension, or of these dimensions, or of these incarnational planes that we're experiencing. So yeah, crystals, creativity, alternate business ideas, all these things finding you right now, you guys. Very, very powerful. I'm also hearing a storyteller. You guys are amazing storytellers. This could be fictional or non-fictional. And something about teaching that we kept saying, either teaching through crystals or them teaching through frequencies and certain crystals and energies. And like we said about maybe you stepping into a teaching role that you're destined to have, whether you're aware of this or not. Or you know, as well, if some of you, if this teaching path is in like 5 years time for you, you might not even resonate with this reading now, but it's still finding you, because you're not meant to want that or feel like you even want that if it's not the right time. So say there's like goals there's like paths that are destined for you in like the future that you may not even feel guided or called to right now, because it's like in divine time for you to like that idea at that time, because then you'll pursue it. But right now you have other timelines, other paths that you are feeling really called to. And again, it could be of these variations, because like we say, you have many callings, but you may find a reoccurring theme within those. Like maybe you use all your different interests or callings because your soul has a song it wishes to sing, and maybe that song is the same in all these different areas, and it can use different mediums to sing that song. Maybe your song wants to sing about authenticity, loving the self. And you can do that through art, you can do that through speaking, you can do that through poetry, you can do that through writing, you can do that through storytelling, you can do that through all these different ways. So there's something that your soul incarnated that has a song it wishes to sing. And that's why you have multiple different timeline paths and higher callings this life, where your song will get to sing that song through it. These higher timers and callings can also be like people we're fated or divinely guided to be in their paths of, like soul tribe, partnerships, or like we said, children. This can also be timeline paths of higher callings too. So yeah, that is the information I have coming through for you, beautiful souls. We will pull a card from the Atlantean Oracle to get a bit of extra confirmation for this reading and message for you, beautiful souls. But you may just find yourself being guided or having extra information find you, or new discoveries find you recently about maybe psychology, philosophy, understanding yourself. And maybe this is intertwined with your higher calling or your life path, because maybe a part of understanding yourself reveals why there's a particular path that's so made for you, right? Or so resonant with you. Okay, guys, we just pulled creative expression. I love this. In the golden times, I just heard someone say, I'm going to paint today. I literally heard someone say that. In the golden times, I hope your painting goes beautiful. Let your soul free, or whatever you guys, the rest of you want to do, baking, walking, thinking. I hope that you have a beautiful astral space, or even if there's heavy parts, you guys are always able to find that beauty even within the heaviness, you guys. 333 as well on the clock. So let's see. In Golden Atlantis times, the Atlanteans loved to express their creativity through art, music, and making beautiful things. They put their hearts and souls into their creations, knowing that the more they poured into them, the more love would radiate out from whatever they had fashioned. Although they had power to manifest objects, they preferred to make them and derived great satisfaction from creating simple and unique pieces. This enabled them to enjoy the senses and help them develop their right brain. You know what that reminds me of? When we're trying to create a masterpiece, we don't necessarily enjoy the process because we're doing perfectionism and we're really concentrating. When we're creating to create for joy, things sometimes turn out simpler because we're not straining ourselves. We're not doing it for what we're creating it. We're doing it for the experience of creating. It's like, we're not creating for the product of what we're creating to be in that flow experience of creation, right? It's like that quote from Alan Watts. Again, this is philosophy quote. Alan Watts could be a philosopher guide of yours or ascended teacher. And he says, about music. We don't listen to music to get to the end of the song. We listen to music to enjoy the experience of the song. We don't play an instrument. We don't play an instrument to get to the end of that song, to finish it. We play it to enjoy the experiences of playing it. And so it's really, creation is nothing to do with the product of outcome. It's to do with the experience of joy or the experience of energy you tap into when you're doing it. It feels like therapy sometimes, it can. And it's to enjoy that experience because whatever you feel whilst you create it, that creation holds that frequency. If I'm creating a masterpiece and I'm straining, I'm stressing, I'm worrying about it, I'm actually creating that frequency into that painting. And so maybe it might cause them emotions to trigger up in someone if they looked at it. Maybe not, maybe. It just depends. The things that you do, the things you create, that you put energy into, holds a signature of the frequency that you created it with. And so that's what's important. It's not about what you're creating that's important. It's not about maybe the songs you're writing or how perfect the speeches are or this or that, how much your poems rhyme. It's about the space of feeling you're connected to when you're connecting or creating something. I feel like that is what you guys are really bringing to this life, is you're finding peace, joy, freedom, and escapism to the astral planes of dreaminess and wonder and thoughts of ponder within a particular practice that you enjoy doing. And again, this could be creative, it could be anything, it could be hairdressing, it could be this, something you do that you enjoy, that you tend to float into drifted thoughts from. Maybe it's hiking, maybe it's walking, maybe it's swimming, maybe it's a physical activity. There's something that you do that when you do it, your mind feels free, your heart feels free. And within that, you create really powerfully charged energies within what you do, no matter what they look like or turn out like. And that's the frequency that you're then birthing into this earth and into this world. And what do we need more of here, hey? Beautiful heart chakra frequencies from people just like yourself. So thank you for that, guys. Your guidance is to do or make something creative. However you express this, you're called on to channel your divine energy into the unique, beautiful, harmonious, and original forms. Take this opportunity to develop all your senses, create something unique and satisfying. Yeah, you guys very connected to your senses. Like we say, you have heightened senses, and maybe this makes you very adept at creating, or like we say, small details. Because of your heightened senses, you notice things more, you notice subtle things more, you notice the details, or your heightened senses being like more of a visceral experience of things that can allow you to create things in a different way. for these subliminal senses or for the subconscious minds of others. Maybe some of you are going into creating hypnosis or guided meditations, subliminal messages for the subconscious collective or something like that. We have Akashic Records split in the deck too, clearing old stories, releasing past lives, and freedom. So this is where I'm going to leave the reading, beautiful souls. I love you so much. Thank you for meeting me here in this astral space and pocket of time. I love you, and I will be connecting with you in the astral until we meet again in the next reading. Mwah.